Hello everybody, James here, Storytime with Dutch Mantell, episode 151. I was wondering what you were looking for there, Dutch. It was a cigar.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Were you sat on it?
This is a imported Ashton cigar. You know what that means?
No.
I don't know either. First time I've ever seen it.
Are these like
But
are these still viewers sending you cigars?
Oh, I still get them every now and then. Guys, don't forget me. I've just about went through the last pack you sent me. You know how long these cigars last me?
Weeks. The way you never smoke them.
Years. I had one cigar, and a guy wrote me. He says, "Listen, you're putting that cigar in your mouth. Don't let it lay around and then put it back in your mouth." He said, that's bad for you. And then guess what happened to me? That was last year. Then I got sick. I had to go in the hospital. So I guess he was telling the truth.
So there you go. So
how do you feel? How do you feel?
Terrible.
You weren't here last week.
No, I was sick. I'm rarely sick enough that I can't sit up straight and talk, but one of those things. I just had really bad food poisoning. So,
how do you feel today?
Kind of terrible, but I'm getting through it. I mean, as I say, I can feel bad, and it's a podcast. You can get through it for the most part, but I couldn't get out of bed for days. I was that sick before.
Well, it's a damn good thing that you didn't make the podcast last week. And if I had done it by myself, which I'm going to learn to do out of necessity, I would have blasted you, and you'd had all kind of reports of what I'd said about you.
You threatened.
I mean, they would all be good, of course, but you know, you cannot miss a podcast. You just can't do it.
You have threatened to be able to do podcasts on your own once before.
I have threatened, but this time I'm kind of serious.
You made me.
So one day I want to do this one by myself, one time without you.
You could probably do it, though. I think you just chat on your own. I think that'd be fine. Or would you have another co-host?
Oh, no. I mean, after you, who would I get?
I don't know. The only way's up from me.
Absolutely.
Let's do the quick version of the intro. So, Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2 L's at gmail.com is the email you write to make your request for signed merchandise, including The World According to Dutch, Tales from a Dirt Road, both books by Dutch Mantell, as well as WCW trading cards and diplomas, the University of Dutch diplomas as well, signed by Dutch, and of course the Provo Zeb.
They have been doing very, very well, by the way.
Have you been doing brisk business?
Brisk business, yes.
Very good.
And I'm still behind on orders. I need to catch them up because, I'm in the last couple of months, I'm still recovering from that hospitalization last year. That's how serious it was. But now, and hey, if I don't get your order, this is to all the fans out there, if I don't get your order to you in a timely fashion, like 9 months, the guy wrote me a day and said, "Hey, I ordered this." Really, he ordered it last year in October. And that has been a year. Of course, and then that's when I went into the hospital and had all that hospitalization. And somehow his order just got older and older and older. And finally he said, "I'm glad." And he was very nice. He said, "I'm glad you're okay. But do you think you could work up enough energy to order my diploma or whatever I ordered?" I said, "Yeah." So I'm working on it. So continue.
You need to have like a priority mailing out thing, like pay a little extra and you'll get it within 4 months. Something like that.
What did you say it was?
So you like some sort of like priority mail option. So you pay more and then you get it within 3 months.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what I should do. But I do put on there, allow 14 to 21 days for delivery. But if I was right, it shouldn't take about less than a week, maybe. That's if I got right on it. But I'm still running behind. So, guys, listen, if any of your orders are late, send me an email, Dirty Dutch Mantell with two L's at gmail.com. Please be kind, be nice, because it hurts my feelings when you call me a no good, POS. So I stole your money. I hadn't stolen anything. I will return everything that I promised. And if I don't, I'll give you your money back.
There you go. Also, there is questions for dutch@gmail.com. That is the email you use to message into the show, submit your questions for the weekly, well, when I'm alive, when I'm out of bed, able to move and work, every Sunday Ask Dutch Anything episode. Right then, Dutch, you ready to go?
I am ready. Let's go.
Andrade. You remember Andrade?
Oh, yeah, I know him.
He's the first man who's gone from WWE to AEW to WWE to AEW in history.
He's went back and forth. This is his fourth time?
Yeah, he's had four separate rosters.
What does he know on those people?
What does he want?
I mean, does he have any kind of bad scoops on anybody in either company?
Well, I don't know. He had that fight with Sammy Guevara a couple of years ago. He was... The whole firing from WWE was weird enough because he just stopped turning up after failing a wellness test. So he failed a wellness test. Then he stopped returning calls. He was in line to win like the tag titles with Rey Fenix, and then instead WWE just fired him. And because it was a firing, I guess, or if they can't do no compete clauses anymore, then he just went to AEW the next week. Again.
Okay, who can't do no compete clauses anymore? Either one?
Well, I'm wondering that. Is it in law now that like they've outlawed no compete clauses or restricted them in some way?
I didn't hear that.
No, I didn't hear that. I think someone wrote to me and told me that. Anyway, there was no compete clause, so he just went straight to AEW.
Really? So, but there is no compete clause there anymore.
No, well, not in Andrade's case at the absolute least. Let me read you this.
Read me that.
So, former United States champion, he went to AEW, attacked Kenny Omega on his return, officially joined the Don Callis family, him and everybody else. Soon after, he defeated whoever it was for some Lucha Libre promotion for a championship. The AEW return made the 35-year-old the first wrestler to leave WWE for AEW and backwards and forwards twice, as we've said. But he also had an issue with Dave Meltzer. Your favourite.
Uh-oh. I want to hear this.
Okay. So, on the following Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer commented his thoughts that AEW should not have brought back Andrade. He stated, AEW has enough talent. They don't need. I've seen everyone like celebrating, oh my god, this is so great and all this. Andrade's a very good wrestler. He's coming off a run that wasn't very good in WWE. He was fired over disciplinary reasons. He had lots of problems in AEW over disciplinary reasons. Guys who got fired by WWE and go to AEW. Is there a case of a success of a guy who was actually fired by WWE and went to AEW? Meltzer pointed out that wrestlers such as Tony Storm, Bryan Danielson and Ricochet, who later joined AEW, decided to leave WWE of their own volition and weren't fired. He then mentioned William Regal, Aleister Black and Rusev, who were fired by WWE, who are not success stories in AEW. I thought William Regal did fairly well. Dave Meltzer then ranted that AEW hiring Rusev was the most ill-spent money ever by AEW boss Tony Khan, and then Meltzer added on Rusev, it's really badly written anyway. I've copied this from 411 Mania, by the way, I'm sorry. Okay, whatever. We've got the point there. So Dave Meltzer thinks that AEW and Tony Khan have completely wasted their money bringing in Andrade. And I kind of think he's right.
But he better once bad-mouthing Tony Khan. Isn't he on the payroll?
Well, that's the interesting bit. He's really taking his best buddy in the whole wide world, Tony Khan, to task for hiring Andrade. I mean, did Tony Khan not run this by Dave first? Maybe that's why he's upset.
Well, but I hate to say this, but he does kind of have a point. I mean, you could be the biggest mess up in WWE and then all of a sudden just drop out and just go right to AEW with big money, with a good contract. So that I don't think is good for the business, because then you have your young guys starting out and they see one guy just screw up so badly, you think nobody would want him. And then Tony Khan takes him. So what's that show the young guys? Well, we can do the same thing, I guess. But I think Tony does spend his money in places that there's no way for him to even realize a profit off what he paid some of those guys, because they don't turn the money. They don't return the money at the box office. They don't return it in ratings, and they don't return it in merchandise. So how else can the company get their money out of what they're paying a guy other than those three things?
I think because when I saw Andrade was on Dynamite, my reaction was, oh.
You know what mine was? Same thing. I went, oh God, he's over here now.
They've shoved him in the Don Callis family, which is its own issue in a minute. But
how many guys in that family?
14 now.
How many are illegitimate kids? That's a big family.
It is, well, all sorts of nationalities as well in there. Must be like Big Daddy Dudley.
But even if I was Don Callis, I would just, well, it's according to how much money I was making. I may not say nothing. But see, a manager like that, he's only good with 4 guys is pushing him. That's a push. 5, now it's getting unmanageable. With 14, I bet you don't see 9 of them.
Several are injured currently.
How many do you see?
Oh, sometimes they pile out some of them, but never all of them at the same time, because some are injured. Some of them, a couple of them work in CMLL or wherever they are, and they're in Japan or wherever else. So you never see the whole lot together. But let me ask you this. Andrade was most recently, in WWE in basically an opening match role. And then he jumps to AEW a week later to feud with Kenny Omega, who is basically at this point AEW's top active star. What does that... And I'm just like, well, that hardly tells you very much about AEW's roster at the moment, that someone who's basically opening match, regardless of how talented or elsewise he is, then is immediately put into like a semi-main event status. And I can't see anybody getting excited over this.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever been... when Andrade went to WWE from AEW, you had the same thing. You went, all right.
Yeah, I mean, he was nothing in WWE, and it's nothing against him. It's just how they used him, and they didn't give him much to go on. But his AEW didn't mean anything there, nothing. And now when he went back to AEW, now his WWE run actually lowered him in the eyes of fans. Now they're watching a guy that 2 companies don't want and have already shipped out.
Going back to Dave Meltzer, and this is why he's butthurt most likely.
Isn't he your best friend?
Yeah. He continued with Andrade. As people who know Andrade have told me, he'll always think of Tony Khan as secondary to WWE no matter what, and we're asking for trouble. Well, in fairness, the vast majority of people consider AEW secondary to WWE, but to Dave Meltzer, that's like insulting his children.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So.
He has a strange set of priorities anyway.
Yeah.
Well, he's a strange duck. He's a strange duck anyway. I don't know him that well, but by the same token, and he might say the same thing, I didn't want to know Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer didn't want to know me. So I'm not going to say anything bad about him, because I don't really know anything bad about him that much anyway. Except we just never hit it off.
Well, Andrade said something bad about Dave Meltzer because he responded to him on Twitter. So, Dave Meltzer, WN.
Oh, this is what we like.
Oh, yeah.
We like the guys arguing in public, like on social media. We love that. Okay, go ahead.
You talk too much shit without proof. And, sir, I'll only tell you one thing. When my contract with AEW ended, I personally went man-to-man to thank Mr. Tony Khan for the opportunity to be in AEW, and that's all I'll tell you. If I wanted to talk more, I would show you that you're wrong about many things, but you keep killing the business. Yolo deseo la mejor. It's a horrible accent.
Well,
I should be better at Spanish.
What did that mean?
Don't know. It means it remains to be seen what is next for Andrade, except that he's with the Don Callis family. Oh, just because this will amuse you as well. Andrade wasn't even the only member of the Don Callis family to join that same episode. There was also the debut of El Clon, which is the clone, right?
Yeah, the clone, yeah, right.
So,
El Clon. But he did say, I did read this. Didn't Meltzer say, or did you say that he joined it without any fan interaction? It just walked out.
Yeah, everyone's just like, Here's the thing.
And here's the newest member of the Don Callis family, the Klein, El Klein. He comes out.
There he is. Right, so what was meant to happen was that Hologram, he was like Tony Khan's own concept for a Lucha Libre mass wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Hologram, he had his little run, then he got injured. Then he came back, and then the story was going to be that Hologram was going to face off against like his double, right? Like a palette swap, like the same looking wrestler with a different colour kind of thing, called the Clone. Then Hologram got injured really badly. He might be out for as long as a year, I've heard. Same knee.
What happened to him? What
Same
happened to him?
knee injury. So recurring knee injury. So there's no Hologram for an entire year, of which to debut the Clone against. But he just debuted the Clone anyway. Off you go, you're with the Don Callis family now, see ya.
Go out there. Well, anyway, that's his view of it. So, but he's had a lot of bad takes on a lot of things, and you would need a program to say, well, that was a bad take, and that was a bad take, and that was a bad take, and what was the thing that he was the worst on, the worst take he's ever had? Or do you follow him that closely?
Oh, the best one was that he reported, by the way, that a Japanese pro wrestler called Shibata had brain surgery where they actually removed his brain and then put it back in.
What? Is that possible?
No. Hey, look, it's possible to take someone's brain out.
Yeah.
But it's not possible to then put it back, like polish it and then like put it back in. And then like they're fine.
Well, they can put it back in, but it won't work.
Yes. Put it in upside down for all the difference it makes.
Yeah.
I figured that's
but he reported that.
Oh, yeah. I figured that that's actually the procedure that Dave Meltzer went through.
Hey, fans, anybody listening, send us some of the worst Dave Meltzer takes, and we'll see what kind of feedback we get on that.
Okay, I've got the actual quote. They had to remove his brain during surgery and put it back in. At the time, doctor said there was no way possible he could ever wrestle again. So there you go, full brain removal there for Shibata.
Never heard that before.
No, it's because it didn't happen. Right, let's move on. The Undertaker.
So they didn't take his brain out.
I'm suggesting they probably didn't yank his brain out and then diddle around with it and then put it back in now.
Okay.
Right. You sent me a Reddit post featuring me.
Yep.
What did it say?
I forgot what it said now. I forgot. I sent it to you yesterday too. Hey fans, I can't remember anything. That was from this is from 30 some odd years of getting hit on the head. So what did it say?
Well, it was just a really...
this is what I said. I said, I didn't use a bad word. I said, what the hell? Because it was about you.
Yeah, it was a write-up of a video that I'd done on The Undertaker.
Hey, I was best man at Undertaker's wedding, so...
Yeah, not that one, though. The first one nobody talks about.
I have a history with that. I have a history with that guy.
No, you set him off on the path of multiple marriages, I think.
No. Mark set himself on that path. The first one I actually advised against. Then he looked at me and he says, "Shut up." I said, "Okay." So I was there at his wedding.
What about the second one?
I don't. Oh,
Sarah.
I advised him against that one after he was in it.
Did you ever meet Sarah?
His second wife.
Yeah.
Yes, she was on TV for a while.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know her that well, but she never was very friendly to me, I don't think. And I met her, and that's about it.
So on my personal channel, I read the Reddit write-up or whatever it is. I mean, Reddit's just an absolute, once again, just a cesspool. And it was a bad write-up. And it took a joke that was obviously a joke that I'd said and made it sound like I'd reported it. Because I said that Michelle McCool is going to be co-booker of AAA by the end of the year. It was obviously a joke. It's because the Undertaker's like basically booking AAA, or one of the bookers, or very influential is the word that came up. And he's like, as far as creative direction, which is weird because he's never worked in Mexico. I mean, surely you'd need to know the local customs and whatnot. You never wrestled in Mexico, did you?
No, I refused to go. Well, I had a chance to go, but I didn't go. I didn't want to go. Because I'd heard Mexico, if back in the late 80s, early 90s, when Vince McMahon kind of just pillaged what was left of the territorial system, business wasn't good at all. So that's why guys were quitting and just doing other things other than wrestling. They had to. And somebody told me, well, you can go to Mexico and do all those miles and you're still not going to make any money. I said, well, hell, if I'm not going to make any money, might as well stay where I am. See, a lot of guys just went just to remain, just to stay in the wrestling business because that's what they knew. But no, I never went to Mexico. Other than I did go to Mexico with WWE, but I was a manager then, and it wasn't that good then. But at least I had WWE behind me, so I knew they would get me back home.
So anyway, I did 2 videos. One pre me being unwell, and then one yesterday. So the first one was basically, The Undertaker sure seems like he's under the thumb of his current wife, Michelle McCool.
Now, this is what you said.
Yeah, this is on the first video. And she's ruining the podcast 6 feet under with formerly Mark Calloway, now it's The Undertaker, because I know that this is going to be a lot Dutch, so bear with me. As far as I can tell, and I actually rewatched his old co-host Matt explain it, this is what I gleaned from it. His old co-host helped develop the show. The Undertaker, under his nose, sold the rights to the show to WWE and then got rid of him as co-host. That's how I'm understanding from Matt's interview. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
The co-host didn't know this?
No.
He didn't know this.
No, he said they'd recorded a batch of shows, and then at the end of it, The Undertaker says, yeah, I've sold the show. And also, it's the end of the road for you.
Did he get any money from it?
I don't know. Because here's the other thing, because it's a Maven interview. Maven then asked, well, aren't you co-owner of the show? And Matt and this old co-host, Matt, went, yeah, no, kind of. So basically what I'm gleaning from it is, yes, he was, but he doesn't want to like get into a legal wrangle with The Undertaker, so he basically let him have it. That's my guess. Because, and I tell you what, that wouldn't be my reaction, I'll tell you that for nothing, Dutch. It wouldn't be yours either, I don't think. If you, I don't know, if we went into a business together 50-50 and then we said, and if I just went and sold it from under your nose and then you went, oh, okay, well, you can just keep all the money.
Well, see, all this is new to me too. I didn't know this. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I think Undertaker gave him something. I really do.
Maybe. maybe. We don't know. This is all summation at this point, or a lot of it is. So anyway, that was what the first video was. The second video was regarding a different quote. I'm just going to find it for you now. So they were doing...
You're just a heat seeker this week.
I'm well-prepared heat seeker, if nothing else, Dutch, let me tell you. So they were reading out fan comments, right? Because Michelle McCool as a co-host has been god-awful. Terrible. Awful. I mean, just horrendous. Talks all over Mark. It ends up being like this domestic, weird husband and wife interaction, which nobody's asked for. They want wrestling stories, not a bunch of bickering and interior design. And Undertaker, you can tell he's really uncomfortable, or more uncomfortable with the setup. And he was never even very good at podcasting when he had the co-host, really. He's not that much of a storyteller. You'll bring that up in a minute. But then Michelle quotes a supposed mean comment saying that the Undertaker should stop letting Michelle McCool rule his life and, be involved in everything. So anyway, this is what the Undertaker says.
So she is reading things directly from fans' emails.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
He's referring to using his influence within WWE to get his wife work or preferential treatment, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what he's referencing. Michelle McCool was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. I'm of the opinion that The Undertaker, because he basically said it himself, is one of the people who chooses who goes in the WWE Hall of Fame. Michelle McCool magically replaced Mickie James on the WWE LFG reality show that The Undertaker just also happens to be on. And also, Michelle McCool is the replacement host for Matt on the podcast. I mean, The Undertaker's wife replaces the old co-host, yet The Undertaker once again is claiming he has absolutely never used his clout or influence in WWE to give Michelle McCool preferential treatment. And, according to former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr., The Undertaker got wind that Freddie had written a story that involved Michelle McCool losing her WWE Divas title. Michelle didn't like it, told The Undertaker, and The Undertaker got the storyline scrapped. So there's 4 examples there.
Hey, that's life, I would think. But as far as The Undertaker not having any influence, Mark, come on. You were like Vince's son. No, I think he treated you better than his son. But what Mark is doing, he's doing it for his wife. And I love Mark. I've known him for almost since not the day he got in, but I've known him for forever. But yeah, and I think what he's done for his wife is not bad, really. But when he goes out and said, I've not used any of my influence. See, they would have ideas for Undertaker. And I've heard this, and they wanted him to do something that wouldn't be in Undertaker's best interest. And I've heard writers even sit back and say, well, you tell him. No, you tell him. So nobody wanted to tell him. So they just came up with a brand new deal for Mark to do that night. But nobody wanted to tell him because, they didn't want Mark mad at him. And that's the way the rest of it is. It kind of works. Don't piss him off before he goes out there, because it could boomerang back on us and him go tell Vince, you need to get rid of those 2 writers. And I'm sure he's done that too. Hell, I've done that. But I did it to the writer's face. I said, I don't know where you took writing lessons, but apparently it must have been in grade school, because you're the absolute shits at this.
Apart from Triple H, maybe over the long term, I can't think of somebody more influential. I mean, that's what I said. It's like he was like the son that Vince McMahon always wanted or liked.
Yeah, he loved Mark, and it's always been. And I heard this years ago, and I've said this before on this podcast. The Undertaker was Vince's version of himself. He was immortal. And he could keep coming. Looks like he's dead. He comes back from the dead. Like when he would do the sit up. And that was, and I don't know, has Vince ever said where he got the idea of the Undertaker?
No. Or if he has, I don't know. As far as the Undertaker goes, I think he was just presented with it, wasn't he? So
The Undertaker?
yeah, I don't think he came up with the character himself. This is
No.
sort of bespoke for him.
It was a Vince, and I think Vince, I don't know if he did it by himself or if somebody mentioned it to him. But even if somebody had mentioned it to Vince, he looks at it like, wow, I really like this. And I have heard through the years that it was Vince's vision of his actual self. So it makes sense. You know, Vince is a very complicated man anyway. So if he wanted to have an immortal version of himself, he could have that. And that's what he did.
He can make a bust of himself. Oh, no, that's coming up later.
And made a lot of money along the way with it.
Just to wrap this thought up, aside from Triple H, The Undertaker's got to have had more say in what he was going to do or who he was going to work with or creative or even hirings or firings. I received 2 separate messages from people who personally said that The Undertaker helped either get them a promotion or get them elevated or a push or whatever it might be. Like, his say-so. So it's not like... It's like he's got a huge amount of influence. He's used it, I guess, for mostly good during his career because he's, you know, the ultimate company man. He's taken more than his fair share of losses to people who didn't deserve to beat him. So, you know, it's not like he's a... The entire point...
Prima donna.
Yeah, he's not like a prima donna or anything. But the fact is that, like, why would he bold-faced lie? While Michelle McCool is sat right opposite him in the old co-host's chair saying that, well, I've never used my clout to, you know, do anything for my wife. I mean, she... Once again, Michelle McCool was not a big star.
You watched both versions of 6 Feet Under.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of clips from both, yeah.
With his original host.
Yeah.
And now with his wife.
Yeah.
Which one did you prefer?
I wasn't that big a fan of the old one, really. I didn't think The Undertaker was that engaging a speaker, but it's clearly better with the fella as the co-host. But
how much money do you think they're making off the Undertaker podcast? Just the podcast.
I said this to you beforehand. I think he probably made per month $500,000.
$500,000
a month, yeah.
So that's making $125,000 a week, just off the podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. No kidding. That's some serious money. That's one day. Wow.
But here's what's interesting that I find, because so many people have ditched the podcast since Michelle McCool has been a part of it, that my video complaining, the original one that I did, complaining about the show and the fall off, got 3 times as many YouTube views as the actual Undertaker podcast. And that's on the WWE channel with 110 million subscribers. It's like, and every single comment without fail is, Michelle's ruining it, bring back the old co-host, this isn't what I'm watching for, etc, etc, etc. But once again, that's not the point. The point is that The Undertaker said that he doesn't use his clout to help his wife attain jobs or curry favour within WWE. There is no way on earth...
Don't forget that The Undertaker is the one who has to go back to the house with her for 24 hours. So
yeah, but he's trying to make it seem like she's got their...
Mark, that thing you said, or that thing that guy said about me, and you didn't say anything. Oh, well, let me go and say something. He has to live with her. And I think it's very unbecoming of you to disparage, disparage the marriage. I made I rhymed it up. To disparage that behavior.
Yeah, but it's just like, just say it. Just say, yes, I use my enormous influence within WWE to help get my wife several high-paying gigs within WWE. But he's trying to make it seem like, no, well, she would have just got these gigs on her own. No, she wouldn't. Absolutely. Yeah. She's primarily known for being the Undertaker's wife. And I think on one of the shows, she let that be known how much that annoys her. But it's true.
Oh, what annoys her? That she got the gig because she was Undertaker's wife?
Yeah, like she's not being treated, I guess, on her own merits. Okay. Which if she was, she wouldn't get any of these gigs, is what I'm saying.
Well, she wouldn't be. I'll say this: I don't think she would get the gig if she wasn't Undertaker's wife. That's what I think.
More than fair enough. Right, let's move on. Kevin Nash's WWE royalty check claim. So, Kevin Nash recently... You like
Hey, this is... To say what now?
I was going to say, you like a good money story.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Nash revealed that he and his clique stablemate Sean Waltman, ex-Pac, had a recent conversation about their payments. This is the quote. I was talking to Mr. Waltman this week. We had our weekly update. We both got our royalty checks, Nash said. I said, holy F. I said, the last one was good. This one was rotten. I mean, it was half. He then pointed out a significant change in how royalty statements are presented, which has made them less transparent. When I was making huge money in my royalties, it was broken down. It would say NWO T-shirts, NWO Women's T-shirt. Now it says NWO Intellectual Property, and there's just a number. There's no subcategories, he explained. This lack of detail combined with the reduced payment has led Nash to consider his next steps. It's going to be a forensic accounting, and I'll effing sue them. I mean, that's just the way it goes. Kevin Nash believes the change in accounting is a deliberate move by the new parent company TKO. It got weird when they sold. If you take all these guys, you cut that in half and put that back on the books, that's several $1 million. So he is saying that since TKO, WWE and UFC merged, that they're now conspiring to F people out of their agreed upon royalties.
Well, what else is new in the wrestling profession? That's... If TKO was just catching up to that, they're behind the times. That was almost back in the day. That's what I say. You know you were going to get screwed on all kind of payoffs and everything. You expected it. It's the amount of the screw job that concerned the guys. Because you said, wait a minute, you'd ask promoter. We had a bigger house last week than we did 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah. But my pay was down. Of course, the old thing was, well, we gave away a lot of free tickets. Really? It looked like you gave away that many tickets and you've never done it before. Well, yeah, but we did. It was a special. Then the promoter said, oh, I got to do something. He'd take off. You get in his car and leave. So, but it was expected back in the day. But RKO fudging or changing the royalty payoffs, that's a new one for me. So how could they do that? They just write their own. Don't guys have to kind of sign off on that?
Well, Nash is alleging that they're now being less transparent from where all the royalties are coming from. So, instead of saying, NWO shorts, NWO poster, NWO t-shirt, NWO hat, it's now just NWO and a number. So, here's a question for you. Did you get royalties on the We the People t-shirts? Because they didn't feature either yours or Jack's names, but Jack Swagger wore them. So you never got royalties for those t-shirts?
Nothing. Did the WWE produce them?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, several versions of them, yeah.
But what they could argue there is We the People is it belongs to the people. It's in the Constitution. they could say, well, we just let you borrow this for a while for your gimmick, your personality, your persona on TV, but it's really in the Constitution, and you could do it. I could actually do it myself with the people, and I don't know if they would have any recourse about that. They probably could, because they say, "Oh, we're going to sue you," and that's all WWE has to say is, "We're going to sue you," and that will back most people off because of their legal department. It would cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just to match their, if they sued you, just to put an attorney on the case.
So low pay in WWE, this sort of follows on from that. Jazmyn Nyx, she was part of WWE NXT for a couple of years. She quit recently. She joined the company November 2022, became a free agent in October when her deal officially expired. Nyx worked her first wrestling match, that doesn't matter anyway. The It Girl of NXT has since revealed that WWE's recent 3-year contract offer did not work for her financially, citing her pro football career in Iceland, not the supermarket but the country, and how she's had to pass up on offers due to WWE. Nyx responded to a fan post that claimed that NXT wrestlers make between $80,000 and $150,000, noting that everything would be okay if she was making that much. In a later report, the 27-year-old was making $75,000 per year on a WWE contract, taking home about $60,000 after taxes and other expenses. The new offer was said to be for the same terms, and that's why she didn't re-sign. So what do you think about that? So 75 grand. 20 years ago, that was base pay in WWE, but 75 grand now, I mean, money's a lot different in 20 years.
I thought 75 grand was their downsides 10 years ago. That's what I thought. But I must be wrong. But yeah, who was this? He had a chance to go to WWE earlier, but he refused the money because he didn't make enough money.
Oh, loads of people did. AJ Styles famously did that.
AJ Styles. That is true. He was making a hell of a lot more than that in TNA, I would think, or his independents. And they said, "Oh, we'll give you $1,500 a week." He said, "No." And the reason being, now since that's on the books, $1,500 a week is taxable. On his independence, he could hide a lot of that money, and he would get his own gimmicks. So when these independents go out on the show, hey, fans, visit the merchandise table or the gimmick table, as we call it, because that's how guys really, that's their money for making the show. If you go out there and there's only 200 people, that nobody's making any money. The promoter's probably losing money. So, but this is where the people come in. You can go over to a table and buy some merchandise that the individual talent has, so help them out that night. Now, some of these shows do really well, but the money, say a promoter offers me, say $200, let's say. So I go there, and yeah, it's a pretty good house. But since I agreed to 200 or 300 or whatever I agreed to, or the talent agrees to, that's what you expect to get. And you'll get your money, but the gimmick table comes in as extra. He can make 200, 300 just off that table, 400 off the table. Now the shot's worth doing. Now he walks out of there with, say, $600 in his pocket, and it's been a successful night. So you put 600, if he could make 600 every night, that's $4,200. That's kind of tax-free because, there's no trail of where it came from. And they can't prove you made it. And you can prove you're on the show, but didn't make anything. So it's your job, it's your word against the IRS, which usually the IRS would win, but guys who know how to handle their money can get by that.
Bubba Ray Dudley was complaining, saying, well, she didn't have the dedication, she didn't have this, that, and the other. But Booker T saw it the other way and said, well,
who didn't have the dedication?
This Jazmyn Nyx from NXT.
Yeah.
Which is, fine. But Booker T took the other tact and said the following. You've got to understand that where she's coming from. She probably was making some money over in WWE, but she was making some money over there doing the football thing. Our football, not your football. Yep. Probably making some money with the modelling deal, also that she was doing not the OnlyFans or anything like that, but real modelling. She wasn't doing that. So I respect that, but my thing also, you've got to look at yourself. How much time has Jazmyn actually been on television? And the reason is because she was getting injured a lot. So she's getting injured. She can't train very much. She's on a $75,000 downside guarantee. And basically, I'll sum it up for you. She could have been making a lot more money doing a lot less strenuous work on her body. And it's like, how can you say no to that?
Right. I agree.
Right. We'll move on. Just Incredible. You remember Just Incredible?
I do. I do remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to have a look at the photo he posted? The tweet he posted?
Let's look at that.
Yeah. All right. One sec. Just Incredible posted the following. I hate to ask. This is Just Incredible saying, I hate to ask. Despite the fact he's panhandling and begging for money for decades at this point. I know a lot of you have certain feelings about me, but Thursday night I got into an accident. I've been in Philadelphia at a hospital. I thought it was a car accident. I presumed it was a car accident. Just said accident. I've been in a Philadelphia hospital. Since then, I've been discharged, but I don't have gas money to get home or trolls. If there's any way you guys can bless me, DM. So, once again, I've since been discharged, and here we go. Why's he still got all that crap on him? And if he's been discharged, and similarly, whoops, 1 second. I don't know if you can see this, Dutch, but he's got mustard in the corner of his mouth as well.
Well, what is those things attached to him? Aren't they supposed to have
wires on them or something?
I would think, don't they?
Well, they don't.
Or no?
No, they don't.
There's a hand in the... See that hand up in the left-hand corner?
Yeah. Don't tell me. I think he might be trying to do his pose. I do a kind of thing.
All right, so what happened to him?
I don't know. No idea. So here's the thing, is that Just Incredible, are you aware of his decades of scamming? No.
Well, I've heard about it, but I didn't spend that much time on it.
I'll run you through a very, very quick version of it. For decades, he was basically the most unreliable person in wrestling. You give him a deposit for a booking, he may turn up, he may not, and not, send it back. There was, a litany of drug issues, many, many drug issues. This is probably where it all stems from. He did an interview with Maven, talking about all the times he claimed that he was sending out signed merchandise to fans. He would accept the money, then never send anything out. Dozens and dozens and dozens of people have attested they'd given money to Just Incredible. They'd never received anything. Just recently, he was posting online saying that he was being evicted from wherever he was living, and he had to sell a load of merchandise he had around his house or flat or whatever it is immediately. So therefore, trying to get up that, sense of urgency to get money, and then all of a sudden 2 days later he's like, oh, actually, yeah, no, I don't need to move after all. And now all of a sudden he's had a bad accident, no proof or anything of what actually happened, and once again just panhandling while with his top off and covered in mustard.
Well, I hate to hear stories like this, and I hate to hear, because I always liked Justin. I always liked him. But if you're out asking for money to get home from the hospital, does he even have a car?
He was saying that he need money for fuel and for the toll bridges.
Well, I hate when somebody is down because I feel for them. So I think he does need help. I think he needs to go to rehab, to tell you the truth. I think that's one of his big problems. But again, he could go to rehab and nothing would get fixed, nothing would get better. And so what we're watching here is just a slow motion accident of his life. And I wouldn't be surprised to read one day that something really, really bad had happened to him. I hope not. But when you're getting these kind of clues and this kind of upfront evidence, he's not doing well. And if any of you want to help him, I'm not telling you what to do. Help him if you want, because that's the Christian way. But good luck to you, Justin. Hope you're better.
Are you just incredulous about his story?
Am I incredulous?
Basically, what I'm saying is that he's burned through.
It could have happened. He could have had an accident.
It doesn't matter though. It could have happened. But the fact is that he's burned so many bridges, and
that's what it is.
Like even with the interview with, once again, Maven, he did an interview with Maven where he came across so bad and so indignant, like, oh yeah, no, I did this, that, and the other, and then basically spent a lot of time denying that he was unreliable and that he was actually clean and everything was great and blah blah blah. And he turned up in, I guess there's like an independent wrestling outfit in Memphis that they call Memphis Wrestling now. He turned up not too long ago. He was a bloated tick. He was enormous. And after like 2 minutes of just like the most sad performance in the world, he was basically plopped on his back, and he couldn't get back up like a tortoise. And he just yelled at the guy, "Pin me." And it's just... I've no sympathy for him, ever. No sympathy for him, because he scammed people for so many, according to so many people, they've paid him, never received merchandise, or he's screwed over promoters, or he's done whatever, and now he's openly panhandling on Twitter, basically, well, I know what some of you might think, like it's everybody else's fault.
Okay, where is his family?
No idea. I have no idea.
Well, he needs... I mean, I was in a pretty good mood. I saw that.
Someone buy him a T-shirt then. Maybe that should be the thing.
Do what now?
Maybe someone should give him money for a T-shirt. I do never need to see that man topless again. All right, let's move on. The Rock.
You are too much.
Yeah, I'm sick. The Rock, Smashing Machine, box office bust. What do you think of the trailer? Did that pique your interest? Did you think it looked good?
No, it didn't.
Did it not?
It didn't pique my interest. And I'm not a martial arts fan per se. I'm not a UFC fan. So to me, that whole thing, other than The Rock playing the star in it, that Mark Kerr, which I have no idea of his career or anything because I don't follow it. But I did hear one thing, that you cannot tell it was The Rock. And that's true.
You think?
No. I saw a close-up on the guy's face. And if somebody said, who is that? I would have to say, I don't know. Initially. And even the voice was different, I think. He changed his voice. He changed his cadence. He actually tried some acting instead of being Rock so much. And I think he did a great job. But I think their audience that they were counting on, to not only the audience of UFC, but The Rock himself, apparently it didn't vibrate. It didn't move the numbers at all. And I heard it did $6 million in its opening week.
Yeah, it was supposedly...
That's horrible.
5.9, actually. I think it was like a $60 million budget, and then obviously marketing materials are going to double that pretty much. It was estimated it was going to do like maybe 8 to 15 million over the weekend.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very much underperformed, which is, I guess, kind of a shame, but there's very few people who've heard of Mark Kerr outside of, MMA fans.
Hell, I haven't either. I mean, I've heard the name, but as far as going into the history of the man, I don't know who he is. And of course, like I just said, that I think the producers of this movie said, well, it's for UFC fans, the martial arts or the Ultimate Fighting Championship type guys and I think that actually cuts most of the women out because I don't think the UFC audience has that much women. It's mostly male. And even putting The Rock in there, it didn't help it. So they have a problem here, but now it's made. So come on, guys. If it's a bomb, it's a bomb and nothing you can do about it.
So what put you off the trailer then? Was it just the subject matter just didn't pique your interest, or was it something else?
Where is the intrigue about it? Where's the backstabbing of the story? What was the story? What's the story of Mark Kerr?
The story is he was pretty much the most dominant, if not one of, at least most dominant mixed martial artist at the time, and then just got heavy into pill abuse and basically murdered his own career.
That's what I'm saying. It's for the martial arts, the Ultimate Fighting fans. It's, and I don't know how many of them want to go and see it.
They've added the wife angle, though. They've added the wife angle, so Emily Blunt, I think, plays his wife, and they're trying to get the human interest drama bit there as well.
I didn't get it. Not with me. So if you got a problem with your wife, hey, okay.
Start a podcast with her.
Yeah, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
do what the Undertaker did.
We put her in the movie. She can't ask anymore. But anyway, I see why they missed the mark on that one.
So
I see why they missed the Mark Kerr on that one. See how I just worked that in there. See,
with that being said, that the review's been pretty good for it, but there's been apparently around like September, October, November time, any film that wants to get an Oscar releases around this time, right? So Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and co. have designs on hopefully being nominated for an Oscar for this film.
Yeah, I read that too. Hey, the parts that he was in were good because I couldn't, like I said, you couldn't tell it was The Rock. Even the voice and the cadence, it's not The Rock.
I don't know the story that well, so I think I probably enjoy it more. It's like the Iron Claw with the Von Erichs. And we know the story better than most people. And that monkeyed with the formula so much as far as timelines, and they didn't have a sixth brother hanging about because they just deleted him from history. Chris, I think it was. That kind of thing. And that took away the enjoyment a little bit from me, even though it was a good film. Whereas with the Mark Kerr thing, I don't know the full story. Apparently there's some bits that are wrong, which won't affect it. But I am going to go and see it because I really liked Mark Kerr back in the day. He was one of my favourites. So I'll have a review for you, maybe even next week. Okay,
Mark Kerr, when did he fight? When did he actually have matches? What years?
The mid to late 90s to early 2000s, and then his career started to peter out then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was fighting up until like 2008, but he'd lost like every fight for years because he was a shell of informed. Watch the film. You should watch the film and tell me if you actually like it. But anyway, before we go any further...
Now you want me to watch a movie about a guy who lost every match?
No, only the second half of his career he lost every match. Spoiler.
Okay, would he be the Ultimate Fighting Championships version of Justin?
Kind of. Not sure he tried to fake sell.
Is he still okay? Tell me, you catch me up on this. Mark Kerr, he's still alive?
Still alive. As best I know, he's clean and through the other side of his addiction issues for the most part now. But once again, I don't know.
What's he doing now?
I don't know. I'll have to watch the film. No idea.
You cannot Google what he's doing now?
Give me a minute then, for goodness sake. As Dutch was laughing at me for making me Google. Yes, Mark Kerr is clean. is clean and has been sober for 7 years as of October 2025, having overcome serious struggle with painkiller addiction. It did end his career. Not nearly ended his career. It's based, essentially, The Smashing Machine is based off the documentary called The Smashing Machine, where this was many, many years earlier, where Mark was still, way into his addiction. But as far as what he's doing now, I don't know.
So he was the champion at one time.
Yeah, but this is before they even had belts. He was the ultimate fighter. He was winning the tournaments, and then he went over to Pride in Japan, dominate over there for a couple of years, and then it all went wrong. Right.
So most of his career was out of sight of the average normal American fan.
Yeah, I'd say so. A couple of UFCs, and then off he went to Pride for many years. Yeah, in Japan.
Okay.
One more thing to add is that The Rock took a $4 million fee, significantly below his historic $20+ million paycheck, plus points. Sources say he even gave a portion of his paycheck to Emily Blunt and Mark Kerr himself. So that's nice.
Oh, good.
If he did that, good
that's
for him.
Good. Very good.
Right, then. Vince McMahon. Once again, we've got to talk about his birthday party. And the reason is the party favours he gave out.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about them, Dutch.
Well, what did he give out? You tell me.
1 second.
Don't ask me. Wait a minute. Don't ask me to remember stuff.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to involve you more, man. Give us 1 second. We're gonna see them together. Okay, here it is. 100 of these were given out, Dutch.
100 likenesses.
It's a good likeness.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like one of those old Roman things that we'll call it Vince. What was the word I had for it? Caligula?
Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the...
Who's that next to it?
I think that might be Caligula. I mean, one of history's greatest monsters and greatest deviants in all of history, and next to Caligula there.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually so he gave those away as his gift to the people that came.
Yes.
Well, it's actually a pretty good likeness of Vince. I'll say that.
What would you do with the bust of Vince McMahon, Dutch?
Well, if there was only 100 made, it's very valuable to collectors. I bet that thing right there would right now sell for $10,000 or more. Because only 100 made.
So would you just sell it immediately then? Would you not keep it in a room in the house?
I would put it on my desk and look at it every day. I would sit down and I'd say, well, Vince, pow. I'd say, talk to me. And then I'd sit there and I'd talk to Vince for about 10 minutes. And then I'd be ready to start my day. That's what I would do. I wonder who did that.
No, someone pretty good. I'd put mine in the bathroom.
Why would you put it in the bathroom?
Just so he could watch over me in my most intimate moments. Why not?
Yeah, but that is actually a good bust of Vince. I'd actually like to have that myself.
What, a bust or one of Vince?
Yeah, a bust of me and a bust of Vince together, side by side, and I would leave them for eternity so they could just continue to talk to each other.
There's something else I'm trying to search for here. So apparently this is also from the party, allegedly, that he actually also had a giant bust of Vince McMahon's head floating, suspended in the air.
Suspended in the air?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So how many people attended this birthday party? I heard 100.
Well, it'd be 100 if they had 100 busts, I guess. This is from Book Pro Wrestlers, by the way.
And what What wrestlers attended this?
Quite a few. Jerry Lawler got in trouble because,
Why?
well, you know that they all had to sign NDAs
Yeah.
to say, so they couldn't talk about what they saw, what happened in that party. For whatever reason, Teddy Long, he either signed one or didn't sign one. But if he signed one, he didn't care because he gave loads of information out about what happened. But yeah, there was Teddy Long and Sergeant Slaughter and the McMahon. Stephanie wasn't there, interestingly. Triple H was
there.
Triple H was, Shane was, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, The Miz and Maurice. Jerry Lawler posted a photo and WWE yelled at him and told him to take it down. So now that photo's floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Good times. But yeah.
So, and how many wrestlers actually attended?
I imagine
was Cena there?
Yeah, I think so. Bradshaw was there. Undertaker and Michelle McCool was there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the usual suspects.
They did something. See, I bet Michelle McCool wouldn't have got invited had not Undertaker been invited.
Well, if you ask Michelle, she definitely would have been, and she resents the inference that she wouldn't have been if it wasn't for being married to the Undertaker. There you go, anyway.
Well,
right, let's move on. Sting's son made his wrestling debut. You watched the video. I wanted to get your impressions on it.
Brother, I looked at this guy and I says, that's it looked like Sting when he was young. He looked just, I mean, there's no doubting who his dad is, because he looks like Sting in the face. He has the same way of walking, actually the same pace of walking, turns his head the same way, the same mannerisms. And I didn't see him too much in the ring, but just him walking in with the tights on, that looked just like, if he'd have had his hair like spiked up a little bit, he would have been almost Steve Borden's twin. I mean, you could have put him on stage and tell me and ask me, and this is asking me, who is Sting's son? And I would have pointed to that guy, because he looks just, that you've heard the term spitting image.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what he was. And he's a good looking guy. He's tall. How tall is he? He's
taller than his dad. He looks about 6'4" or something. He's a big boy.
Yeah, he looks, and I think he'll watch for him in WWE, because they're going to get that guy.
Do you think there's, for the most part, should most wrestlers' sons just not try and attempt it? Because Sting casts a very, very large shadow, because he was a huge star for decades. And look at someone like David Flair, in the same position. There's not that many megastar wrestlers whose sons live up to their father's legacy.
Mm-hmm. But I think it would be hard for anybody to live up to Sting's legacy, because he did so much and was such a big, big star for so many years, like you said. To expect his son to reach that height of popularity or success is asking a lot. So I think the least that can be done is to give him a shot at it, because he can always, if I'm a booker and I'm going to book this kid, I got it in the back of my mind right now, and I'm not even booking the kid, that somewhere we got to work Sting in down the line, where Sting just walks to the ring, not to wrestle or do anything. But that's a major thing, because give it a couple of years and people haven't seen Sting, and he would be an attraction that they would like to see. But I think this guy, I could tell by the way he walks, he's an athlete, because he's got the balance, he's got the swagger, he's got it all. What is his name? Steven?
Steve Borden is Sting's real name. It is sons Stephen and Garrett, and Stephen played the role of Wolfpack Sting. I think that's the guy who made his debut. I'm looking at a photo of him now. He's taller than Edge, so he could be a legit 6'5".
No, he's big enough.
Yeah. I've got a question for you. I've got a booking question for you, Dutch. You've got Stephen Borden, the son of Sting. He's going to be in your wrestling school or wherever it's going to be. Let's say he's trained up a little bit. Do you play off the fact... There's three options. Do you play off the fact that he's Sting's son but give him his own personality? Do you make him almost a carbon copy of Sting? Or do you not acknowledge the familial connection at all and try and get him to where he needs to be without that help?
From the get-go, I would say that he is the son of a notorious, well-known wrestler, Sting, and that's where his interest in professional wrestling. I would tell that story, and then take him out there, and I wouldn't push him too hard at the beginning. I'd let him win, and then let him get his legs underneath him, and then when the time is right, take off with it. Because and tell him, I don't know how he does interviews, but Sting was never good on interviews except he was, say, shouting or screaming or really had something hot. I don't know how this kid talks, but I would take my time with him till I get him there. And you can tell when something gets hot, you just keep building on it, and he'll have like little various angles you do on TV where you started on TV, you ended on TV, and let the people get used to him. And I think they got a superstar in the making here with this kid if they do it right.
I mean, back in the old day, you just give him a fake name and send him off to another territory for an excursion for a year or two, wouldn't you? In the 70s, 80s, it was so much easier.
But see, I don't even know how much training he's had. I'm sure he's had to have some because his dad had to show him some things. And they live in California, right?
I don't know.
They live in California, I'm pretty sure. And I'm sure that both him and his brother have both, they saw their dad in a ring and with adoring fans around. And, that's a very receptive thing to see when your dad is a big, big star. And they would like that too. But I think this kid here, I think he's going to get it. Garrett, how big is Garrett?
Similar. So okay. I think he might be a couple of inches smaller, but yeah, he's no smaller than his dad.
Well, and that gives you another angle that you could go to. All of a sudden, his brother shows up, and see, I'm talking a year story, just getting them ready. And I think, and once they get ready, they should be there at least 10 years.
Let's move on. And this is something that your name got dropped into at one point.
Oh, yeah. Who knocked me now?
No. No one who matters, McMahon. I'll tell you that. What's that?
Vince McMahon knocked me after what I said about his bust? Okay. All right, Vince, let's see what you said.
Gail Kim versus GCW in Deathmatch Wrestling. You watched this little clip, didn't you?
I did watch it.
Yes, it's just, okay. A clip from a recent GCW show features, just another... Show that? No. Another moronic dive.
Wait a minute. Legally, we can't show it?
Yeah, we could do. It's got music playing in the background as well, so it's just a nightmare. Anyway, two wrestlers, kind of nameless. Apparently one of them is like the director of the documentary that this dive is a part of. Anyway, that's kind of by the by.
What is the documentary about?
Deathmatch.
Hardcore wrestling?
Yeah.
God, I hate that crap.
Yeah, I know. So, they're on a platform of stacked cars. It's in a junkyard, appropriate. And one of them does like a fisherman's buster kind of thing through like a bunch of glass and then a barbed wire spider's web net kind of thing above the ring. And, it's just another big setup sort of deathmatch dive. We've seen them before numerous times at this point. Anyway. Gail Kim sees the video, she retweets it, and she writes the following: "This is pure trash. Say you don't know how to storytell without saying it." Now we love Gail on this show.
Truer words have never, ever been spoken. That's like saying, hey, I can't do nothing else, but I can fall off this 20-foot platform and fall through something. Well, so can a homeless bum on the street. Just tell him to go up there and fall over. He could do that because apparently you didn't get hurt, and give the guy $20 and he'd go up there and fall through it. Yeah, that is. Tell me you have no talent. Well, showing me you have no talent. That's what it is. I mean, anybody can do this. So they're making a documentary about it.
Yeah. So, most people very supportive of Gail in this. The occasional complete imbecile, of course, seems to think that, what do you mean they're not telling stories? It's from a documentary. It's like, that's obviously not what Gail was getting at. She was getting at those two morons doing something really stupid for the old hot dog and a handshake kind of thing. Anyway, GCW owner Brett Lauderdale took exception to Kim's remarks and fired back with the following, once again, impossibly stupid response, writing the following on Twitter. "This scene is a part of a documentary produced by A24 telling the stories of little-known deathmatch fighters around the world. It's not the point. It will premiere wherever it will. Anyway."
Oh, what'd you say? Little-known deathmatch fighters around the world?
Little-known deathmatch fights from around the world. It will premiere at prestigious film festivals around the world. Now, I dare anyone to name one memorable Gail Kim match.
I do. Gail Kim and Awesome Kong.
Yeah. And the Beautiful People and loads of other people in TNA.
Gail Kim was the start of the women's revolution. Her and Kong. I started them in TNA because I was a part of them. I was the one whose idea in TNA really started the women, because nobody believed in it except me. Even Dixie Carter at TNA, being a female herself, she didn't really much like it. Till guess what? They started turning numbers. Then everybody jumped on the ship. And he used to come to me, oh, I got this idea about the girls. I said, no, you didn't have any ideas before. So don't come up to me now after you've seen them out there. Don't come up to me with any ideas, because I got them all I can use right now. I may talk to you in 2 months. Then you give me some ideas. But so Brett Lauderdale owns this documentary company or whatever, not the company.
He owns this deathmatch promotion.
Okay.
And there's a documentary.
And that is trash wrestling. It really is.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying they don't have fans. They probably have fans enough to keep them in business, I guess. But still, what is the finesse? What is the storytelling with, death matches?
Where's the skill?
Well, how much skill do you need?
None. That's the entire point. You're talking about people with no skill and no talent falling back basically on deathmatch wrestling because they don't have the skill to tell a story without using it. Or, on rare occasions, some of them do have talent, but then just have this weird bloodletting habit and just love doing it anyway, which I find a bit disturbing in its own right.
Well, I used to make some independent shows, and it was hardcore. We didn't call it, they didn't call it deathmatch wrestling. It was hardcore wrestling. But I'd tell the guy that booked me, I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that crazy stuff. I'm not doing it. Don't throw a bunch of barbed wire out there, and don't throw a bunch of glass and a bunch of tacks, and don't set me on fire, and don't do me all this, make me come off 10 or 15. I'm not doing it, period. I'm going to tell you before I get there. And even after making that, I would get there and they had me in a death match. I said, well, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it all. And he said, oh, come on, Dutch. And then they were like begging me to do it. I said, no, I told you. I mean, I don't know how else I got to. Maybe I should have sent you a telegram, which wasn't possible. But what part of no don't you understand? So, but I would go out there and I'd watch these guys really. Some of them had a little bit of talent, you could tell, but they're out there doing this and abusing their bodies. I mean, bleeding all over the place. And hell's a damn wonder I don't have AIDS right now because of the blood that was floating around. But it was crazy stuff. But some guys find it easier to go out there, and it takes very little talent to do what they do. How much talent does it take to take a 2x4 over the head? That is, of course, not a 2x4, but something that breaks over your head. How much talent does that take? Nothing. You could pull a fan out of the crowd and do the same thing to it. The only thing different is the wrestler may sell it. The fan wouldn't. The fan would just look at you like, that didn't hurt. So, yeah, I'm agreeing with Gail here.
There's more. There's more. Before you agree with Gail, which I'm sure you will, but
I'm agreeing with her.
So, I mean, it's like, well, Gail Kim and Awesome Kong were breaking, ratings records in TNA through talent. Somehow, and once again, this is bargain basement, bottom of the barrel, dog shit, deathmatch crap. and a purveyor of trying to talk down to Gail Kim.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like side split. Oh, yeah, it'd be funny if it wasn't so sad. Anyway, here's another quote, and it involves you. I don't dislike Gail Kim, and it's clear she's well liked by her peers. That's why it's so disappointing to see her echo the same uninformed, Dutch, because you're uninformed, tell a story hot dog handshake bullshit about death matches as old losers like Al Snow, Jim Cornette, and Dutch Mantell. She's better than that/them. Like, the scumbag promoter is saying that three of the most respected minds in pro wrestling, you, Jim, and Al, who are all, booking and like trying to say, like, that somehow he's better than you lot, and then Gail Kim's better than you lot as well, or something. I don't even get it.
I don't get it. But that's the closest he's going to get to any mainstream. If he brings my name in it, or Jimmy Cornette's name in it, or Al Snow's name in it, these people know who we are. How many people know, what's his name? Brett Lauderdale?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah.
It doesn't matter, really. But hey, Brett, this is it. You do your thing, and I'll do mine. But if somebody asks me, I'm not going to put over your style, because even if you hadn't have been brought into this conversation, the style is still crap. I don't care who does it. It takes, and I've been in a lot of these independent dressing rooms where they're going to do a hardcore match. These guys aren't wrestlers. They're just going out there, and all of a sudden they're trying to shock the fans into, I don't know what they're trying to do. And they'd come back and they're all beat up, and some of them legitimately hurt, by the way. Some of them legitimately cut. And again, they don't make much money, and they go back home that night and get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and go to a day job. So if it was such an art form, and that's why you're trying to put it on at some film festival, because that is unique for a film festival, and you have all those people walking around, oh my God, those guys try to kill each other, don't they? No. So, and you're probably making some money off the film, so more power to you. But don't say that, me and Jimmy and Al, we don't know what we're talking about. Because over a long term, if you try to run a town long term with hardcore wrestling, you'd get a core of maybe 150 people who would show up every week, and that's it. That's your top point.
Yeah, I mean, ECW managed it for a decent few years, but they had a lot more going for it than the hardcore wrestling. They had very good booking, very interesting characters. But then that had a ceiling, because the hardcore style, or, going extreme, is only going to have... AEW is probably finding that out as well, because they do some really extreme things, which is going to limit the amount of people who are going to get into the product.
In AEW's defense, they don't do it like they used to. Now it's more like you're watching the show and it turns into that, but then they come back for the next match. It's not like that. I mean, at least they're kind of limiting the airing of the hardcore stuff, and not as much as they used to.
Gail Kim's response was, "I like you, Brett, as well. I said I will watch the doc and give it a chance. I dislike death matches and always have. Like I've said before, wrestling is subjective. I also like Dutch, Jim Cornette, and Al. This is what's so great about debates and conversations. We can all have our say." Way too nice a response. Anyway, Jim Cornette then said, "Gail, it's okay to tell the truth about death matches, the garbage wrestlers that do them, and the garbage jock sniffers like this one that promote them. You showed more talent in the ring in 15 minutes than any of these cretins in their lives. Don't watch. The smell of trash isn't subjective."
Oh, that's a good statement by Jimmy. Smell of trash isn't subjective. That's true. So, but hey, my point is, if he wants to do it, do it. But don't say that Gail and Jimmy and Al and me, we don't know what we're talking about. Why is your opinion all of a sudden way up here and our opinion is way down here? If you don't agree with us, just say, be civil about it and say, I don't agree with those guys. And it's like I said, if you're making a living out of this, then more power to you. Go do it. But don't ask me to vouch for it, because I'm not going to do it.
We've got two more things to talk about, then we're going to shut down the show. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax. Normally, we do just stories from the last week, but there has been such a dearth of wrestling news out there. It's been really dead out there. So now we're referring to something that happened a week and a half ago, whenever it was, I don't know. A total disaster of a match finish, it was, from WWE SmackDown a week and a half ago. Now, we're going to get to the finish first, because we can't show it. It's just the video's way too long, so we'll get content ID'd on that one. But
let me ask you something. Yeah. I heard the whole match wasn't very good.
It was,
and you know why?
Clunky.
You know why? Because you had 3 people in there who were new to wrestling.
Well, you had 2 that are new to wrestling and Nia Jax.
Well, Nia Jax, she's got more experience than those other 2.
She does, but she's also a lot less than she used to be. But she's prone to a botch.
She may have less experience. I mean, more experience. But see, I know what you're talking about. But a 3-way to make it flow, you got to have some experienced people in there. You just can't put 3 guys. You can't put 2 kind of less than a year type guys in there, or talent in there, and expect it to really flow. Oh, they can do their spots. But now I'm getting back to telling the story. So, but anyway, I agree with you, and tell what happened in this match for the people who didn't see it.
Right, so Jade
was on what, Raw? What was
SmackDown, like a week and a half ago, I think. Anyway, so yeah, was it? Whenever it was one SmackDown, the other SmackDown, I can't remember. The point is that at the end of it, triple threat match, Jade Cargill hits the Eye of the Storm on Nia Jax, right? Yep. And then it looks like Tiffany Stratton is a bit late, because you can see Nia Jax staring up at Tiffany, and then she ends up kicking out of Jade's finisher, which I guess she wasn't meant to. But because Tiffany was late, the timing was off. Tiffany then pushes Jade off, right?
Tiffany broke it up, didn't she?
Yeah, she did break it up, but she was late.
Okay.
So therefore, Nia Jax had to kick out. Then Tiffany pins Nia Jax after shoving out Jade Cargill, which already doesn't make sense because Nia Jax is kicked out of 1 pin because Tiffany was late. Yep. Then the referee counts 1, 2, 2.5.
Yep. And nothing happened. She never kicked out. She didn't even move her shoulders, but she went 1, 2, and the crowd went, what? The whole crowd, down to a 6-year-old kid, could tell, well, why didn't she count on the 3rd one? That is a deal you do when you want to turn the referee heel. That's a great spot. He just doesn't count. Well, she kicked out. She didn't move her shoulders. And then they were all looking at the referee and the crowd. all the eyes were looking at that referee like, what the hell did you do? Because that was the finish, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't count. And I don't know what went through her head. Oh, another thing I said, you got 3 green talents in the ring. They're very talented, but they're still green in 3 ways. And you had a referee who's probably, she's as green as they are. So they were all in uncharted territory. Nobody knew what to do. And I think finally Tiffany's, she did her move right, and they did a pin 1, 2, 3. So do you think anything happened to that referee in the back?
I'd hope she was told off, because wasn't it back in the day? Because they always blow hot and cold, WWE, with their edicts. But at various times, referees have been told just call it as a shoot. If they don't kick out, well, that's the wrestler's fault. But here's the thing: why it made no sense.
That was the Vince. That was the Vince mantra. Because of course, top guys wouldn't do that. That was actually for the lower talent. If they don't kick out, he don't kick out. Count him down. That was teaching guys, hey, kick out when that referee's counting, because if you late there, we're gonna count you out. Which was actually pretty good advice, really. But as soon as she held up on that 3, which it was obviously a 3 count was there, all she had to do was just go another 5, 6 inches, and she was on the mat. The 3 count would have been legal, but she held it up and went, whoa, and threw her arms up like she kicked out. And everybody, they were confused about it. I hope when she got to the back, and I don't know how much really, chastising an employee can be backstage in WWE now, but I bet they blasted her, and I bet she'll never make that mistake again. Because not only did she know she missed it and whatever happened, she just had a blank spot in her head, or she had something in her ear, but something held up that count. And when she got to the back, I bet she was blasted. And I hope she gets a little bit of payback on that, at least from the head office.
I think they'll find some way to blame Abyss and then yell at Abyss.
Yeah. We'll get Bruce Pritchard to go over there and say, Abyss, what do you think?
Oh, dear. It just ultimately...
Hey, don't talk about my friend Abyss. I'm going to call him up and tell him you said that.
He probably apologized to you, just in case.
He's a good guy. He really is.
With that being said, it went wrong straight away because Tiffany didn't break up the pin quick enough originally, which is why Nia Jax had to kick out.
We need a picture, a still picture of Nia Jax and Tiffany looking at that referee.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do that now. Hang on one sec. Right, so this is Jade. I'm going to go away. I'm going to just scrub through it here. So there's a bit where Nia kicks out. There we go. See what I mean? She is absolutely staring at Tiffany, saying, and then she has to kick out.
Oh, that's
Tiffany doing a drop kick.
Yeah, that's Tiffany doing a drop kick. Now here it is. Is that when she...
We can do the count. Let's just do the count. Nia Jax! Oh, hang on. God, that's loud. Sorry. It's just the noise where she goes, oh.
Now, where do they all go ahead a little more? And they're both looking at her like, what the hell did you do?
See, Nia Jax for the entire time is just staring at the referee. Can you see it?
And Nia Jax is looking at her.
And then there's
there's a spot right there where they both look at her. Well, that's the count there.
That is the count. You just see her head just... Look at this.
And she turns...
What are you doing?
And wait till Tiffany turns her head. Now they look at her.
Yeah, there you go.
I said, what the hell? And oh, the girl, oh, look at her face. She don't know what to say.
Hey, there's one more thing I want you to watch from this match. I actually saved this for you for now.
Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't see.
Oh, you saw this bit?
No, I didn't see that, but I saw the still version of it. Just it. What happened?
She just slammed her head into the stairs, which meant that Jade got that.
Okay. Now, whose fault is that?
Well, you tell me. Do you think Nia just like kept hold of her head and rammed it in? But look, you can see a brain practically. That's one of the worst cuts in the world.
That's Jade's fault.
Okay.
Once they run your head in, unless they just keep it there and just ram it in, and she didn't ram it in, that's Jade's fault completely.
Let's just let's see that again. Make sure she isn't holding her head the entire way. Get it out of the way. No, you're right. Sort of just lets her go.
She let her go. Now, at this point, that's Nia Jax.
Yeah.
At this point, she's on her own. And she didn't get her hand up in time. And it sliced her open, like they say, a razor blade. And that can happen. And that's a bad, bad cut. It really is. So that's not Nia Jax's fault. That's Jade's fault.
So we're going to end on this.
Were you thinking that was the other girl's fault?
Yeah, I actually thought it was Nia's because like she held her head and it didn't. In my mind, she rammed her head in the stairs, but she does let it go and she lets her, sort of swats her hand away. It's not like she's driving Jade's head into the stairs.
And how much did you see the match?
Yeah, saw it at the time.
How much did she bleed?
Significantly, she bled.
Well, sometimes you can get those and you get no blood hardly. I don't know why, but I've seen guys get open like that, but not a lot of blood. You got some, but not as much as you'd expect.
We're going to end on this, the most insane AEW fan, of which there are many, in fairness.
I did read this. I read this in the news, though.
Oh, right. So you actually saw it on like mainstream news then, because I saw it on YouTube.
I've read about it, but I didn't see any video on it.
The case of Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr. rocked many after the alleged crimes he committed.
Okay, what's his name again?
Donnie Ray Birchfield.
3 names. You know what that means down south, right?
Serial killer.
No. That's a crazy person, really. When they have 3 names like that, Donnie Ray, look out. And it's Southern, so continue.
On August the 1st, the South Carolina resident was arrested after police responded to his home for a report of an unattended death. According to the incident report, the death occurred on July 24th, but wasn't reported until the following day. The name and age of the victim weren't listed in the documents, but only as a vulnerable adult who was allegedly held at Donnie's basement with a husband and 2 other female victims. Further details of his alleged crime noted that he controlled the vulnerable adults in his basement's daily activities, like eating, bathroom usage, and communication. It was also said that he used the victims for financial gain by using their cards and bank accounts. Warrants also noted there is evidence he physically abused one of them. Birchfield's attorney, Ryan Payne, presumed innocent for his client, who is currently detained without bail at Lancaster County Detention Centre and was charged with 4 counts of exploitation of a vulnerable adult, 4 counts of false imprisonment, 2 counts of abuse of a vulnerable adult, 2 counts of domestic violence, and financial charges with a $150,000 bond. When the case broke, the pastor's son's social media was flooded by several people who then found out he was a wrestling fan. It was noted that he attended several shows, mainly AEW, All Elite Wrestling, and took photos with several wrestlers, including Tony Khan and Luchasaurus. That's the one that went around. And there was also another photo that shows him at a convention with the chain around his neck of One Man Gang.
my old buddy.
There you go. You need to have a word with George Gray and
Uh,
tell him to watch out the company he
yeah.
keeps.
Hey, I've often said these people that come up, they want your autograph and they want a picture or whatever they want. You have no idea about the past that they've done. They actually have no idea of what I did in my past. But there's no telling who these people are. And if you took his picture with One Man Gang or Tony Khan, doesn't matter, because they were under the same assumption they're just a wrestling fan. So let me oblige the wrestling fan, take a picture. But see, and I've even thought, you get in the ring with, and so those stadium shows, those big pay-per-view stadium shows, 80,000 people. How many murderers you think is in that crowd? You have no idea. I mean, you got to be kind of halfway nuts to even be thinking, wait a minute, there's some murderers out there watching me. How many could be thinking, I'd like to kill that guy? You don't know. So, and I'm saying him being a wrestling fan, no different than he's probably a football fan too. But for this guy to do that, I think he's going away for quite a while. I think he may even get life imprisonment over this. This went on for how long? 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years. But you got to watch that too. But they can say, well, he was mentally detached or he needs mental help. Doesn't matter. Those other people need mental help too now because he gave it to them. So I would put that guy away and he'd never see sunlight again because he doesn't need to. There's no way you can fix that head. There's no way you can fix a brain that thinks like that or even make it better. That's my opinion.
The YouTube channel.
What do you think?
Well, here's what I think. I mean, the kind of unintended comedy of all this is that the Law and Order network...
Unintended comedy.
Yes, yeah. Well, this is how it relates to wrestling. This is how it relates to wrestling. Is because they picked a photo of him with an AEW jacket on for the thumbnail of that YouTube video. So now it's just all of a sudden, like, the AEW fans are never, like, the crazy AEW fans are never going to live down that one. It's like, here we go, here's an AEW fan. He holds vulnerable adults in the basement against their will for a decade. Yeah.
But there is an upside to this if you can find one. He didn't kill any of them. That's the only thing.
Well, hang on, one of them died.
Oh, okay. No.
We're not sure he killed him yet, but yeah. Responded to him, an unintended death is why they responded. So.
Well, then now he's liable for that. He didn't do it.
I don't know. He might have done it. Who knows? Just says unintended death at his house.
Well, we might need to do a little more. I'm going to research this now because I know where that town is.
Where is it?
State, South Carolina. And not noted for his...
symphonies? World-class dining?
Yeah, the symphony and their highbrow education. But it's a strange story. It really is. And I have never, ever heard a story like this before.
Oh, well, don't get...
Now, the deal is, how did he get those people in there? How did he get the guy in there? Unless he got him in there and drugged him up and then chained him up.
I was going to say, if you've never heard of that kind of story before, you probably best not Google Joseph Fritzl or anyone.
But not down south. Not into, maybe up north, way up north above New York, maybe. I think the people get a little crazier the more you get up into Maine. Because they're so isolated. Seems to me like they're isolated. Down south, you're not so isolated because you got those big cities around you. But what are you doing?
I'm just moving my back around.
What are you doing like this?
I am doing that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The polite thing would be to not call
attention to it. But it looks like you got over here behind your camera deal. Your microphone.
No, I'm just doing that, just trying to just work out a spasm.
I thought you were looking. I thought you were looking at something.
No. My house isn't sinking.
Anyway, that is a strange story, and they need to really put that guy away from life.
Sounds about right. Okay, then.
If you're ever in a trial and I'm on the jury, don't expect any kind of mercy. Because you've heard of the hanging judge. I'm the hanging juror. I'll slap it to him.
So before Dutch slaps it to me, we're going to say thank you very much for watching the return of Storytime with Dutch Mantell. We will be back with Ask Dutch Anything this Sunday. Once again, the email to contact us and especially submit questions for the Ask Dutch Anything Sunday episodes is questionsfordutch@gmail.com. We hope to see you there on Sunday. Only thing left for me to say now, Dutch, is we, the people.